I'm Freiberger.
I'm Finnegan.
And I'm Alana.
We're going drag racing. Woohoo!
This is Hot Rod Drag Week presented by Gear Vendors. We've been doing this for 8 years and it is the ultimate test of fast street and strip vehicles. We've got 14 classes that run at 5 drag strips in 5 days. And what they're trying to do is get the lowest average ET throughout the week. But what makes Drag Week the real test of an ultimate street car? These insane 7-second cars have to drive on the highway 1,400 miles from track to track. We have 14 different classes of competition at Hot Rod Drag Week, the fastest of which is unlimited. These cars literally have no restrictions other than NHRA safety requirements, and they're running in the high 6-second range to low 7s at more than 200 miles an hour. They are the most ludicrous cars on the street.
What everyone is talking about in 2012 is whether anybody is finally going to be able to outrun Larry Larson. Larry has won Drag Week 4 times in a row in his 66 Nova, and there are some big contenders gunning for him this year. We're looking at Jeff Lutz in his 57 Chevy. We've got Dave Ahokas in a wild Pro Mod Camaro. Dave Schroeder is a Drag Week veteran, but this is his first time in this 66 Stingray. We've got Joe Barry in his creamsicle-colored 56 Chevy. Tom Bailey is hoping to make the former Project 6 Seconds car live up to its name. And finally, there's Sean Fink, who brought a knife to a gunfight. He's got a 23-degree headed small block Chevy in his 63 Nova wagon.
This is day 1 at Tulsa Raceway Park, and what's interesting about this track is that it shut down just 2 weeks after we left here last year, but it opened right back up, and that word hasn't really gotten out. So this year we are starting and ending right here at Tulsa Raceway Park.
The thing about Drag Week is it has a way of weeding out race cars from real street cars. And the debate this year heated up in the Unlimited class when Tom Bailey brought out his 69 Camaro and Dave Ahokas brought out his Camaro. Both of these cars began life as race cars and were converted into street trim. Neither one of them have factory steel bodies, giving them a weight advantage over everyone in the class. That is Joe Barry. He's a threat. If he can lay one down and do that every day and finish Drag Week, he could be in the running for this deal. Ah, my favorite Canadians are here in their Corvette. They're the only guys running nitrous oxide in the Unlimited class that look like they have what it takes to be in contention. Holy crap, 732 at 195 miles an hour. That's the fastest nitrous pass we've ever seen at Drag Week by a lot. Jeff Lutz had 2 goals this year for Drag Week. He wanted to run in the 6s, and he wanted to make Larry Larson work. He left Tulsa after dropping a 7.16 at 212 miles an hour on the class, letting everybody know he had the power to contend for the overall win at Drag Week. Oh my God, he went into the center lane. At most racetracks, if this was a legit race, that run doesn't count. He's DQ'd. The wagon went 870 at a $155. It's got a 3-speed in it, which is why we heard it shift again. And it looked like it had some pretty good tire slip in the beginning of the run. They can do better than that.
There, Larry Larson out of the 8th mile at 167. Here it comes. Top end 694, 208 miles per hour. Go nuts. That is totally insane.
That's Larry Larson's car. He just ran the quickest pass of Drag Week ever, 694.
I'd been running through the clutch and having some issues, so that's what I'd been playing catch up with and then tune up a little bit all weekend. And when I put it in 4th gear and and it pulled the motor down, I knew it was on a pretty good run. And then down at the other end, it's a little rough down there, and the thing was wanting to carry the wheels through the lights.
Almost all of the Unlimited class is already gone. Big numbers have been thrown down. We got a couple of guys left to go. Dave Ahokas is one of them. He's got what it takes to run.
Clearly, there's a benefit to running a race car at a drag race. The question is not whether Tom Bailey and Dave Ahokas can run the numbers. It's, can their cars make it through drag week?
Welcome to the party, Tom Bailey.
At the end of each drag racing day, we hand out a map, and the competitors are required to drive on the roads that we give them. So they're going from track to track on a specified route, and it's not necessarily the highway. As a matter of fact, we take them down some potholed little winding roads on purpose to prove the actual merit of these cars in real-world conditions.
The 380-mile-long trek between Tulsa, Oklahoma and Ennis, Texas bit the Unlimited class hard when we lost both Dave Ahokas and Earl Schexnayder.
Day 2 of Hot Rod Drag Week finds us in Ennis, Texas at Texas Motorplex, another killer track.
In the Unlimited class, Joe Barry rolled his 56 Chevy all the way to Ennis, Texas, ready to do battle. And he looked stout on day 1, running 756 at 202 miles an hour. He said his whole goal for drag week was to get in the 200-mile-an-hour club and finish. "300 feet after the starting line, his shoebox Chevy got into some vicious tire shake that actually cracked the windshield of the car, slowing it to a 915 at 131 miles an hour. That wasn't his biggest worry. He actually broke his Lenco transmission, and that would be it for his drag week. He bowed out in Ennis, Texas. Larry almost watched his hopes for winning this deal go up in flames when he went 1050 after blowing the tires off on his first hit.
Takes the tires to the top of first gear and he lifts. He beat second gear, the back of the car got loose and he lifted and rolled through.
You got pulled over last night?
Oh yeah, I had a small visit with I think it was a sheriff, I think.
What did he say?
He walked up, kind of looking in the car. Well, at least I didn't have to chase you down.
What did he pull you over for?
What do you think he pulled me over for?
That was my best 60-foot of the week so far. It went on 123, but it struck out there. I pedaled it. I just got, I wanted to get a number in. I see everybody struggling. There's a few that didn't show up, so now's the time to capitalize on what's going on.
Yeah, so you're gonna make another hit then?
Absolutely.
Huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna play chess with everybody else.
Tom Bailey's 1969 Camaro ran awesome in Tulsa, but electrical gremlins slowed it down to a 754 in Ennis.
754 at 188 miles an hour.
After Larry Larson's first pass, people were starting to count him out. Blew the tires off of it, only went 1050. He needed at least one low 7-second pass today or he was done for the week. With about 10 minutes left to go with the lanes open, he rolls up there, cool, calm, and collective. Made a 711, which literally saved his week. If he hadn't done that, his average would have been so far gone that Jeff Lutz would have walked away with this deal just by finishing.
Now we're at Thunder Road in Louisiana. Getting interesting now in the Unlimited class. We're down to really 3 contenders, which would be Larry Larson, Jeff Lutz, and Tom Bailey. Really, there's no one else in the hunt. Larry and Jeff are really close. 703 to 708 on a 2-day average. I don't know where Bailey is, but he's a little bit further behind, but you never know. This is a game of attrition. All it takes is one of those guys to fall out, and Tom Bailey could come right up. So we'll be watching that. It's getting good.
2 at 212 miles an hour. You have got to be kidding me.
Jeff Lutz made a big statement in Gilliam today. The 212 backed up his earlier 212, giving him the unofficial mile-per-hour record at Drag Week. The thing it didn't do, though, was get him in the 6s, which he said is his real goal. He was 0.02 of a second off that. Sean Fink picked up the pace by nearly half a second in Gilliam. This is still well behind both Larson and Lutz, but you've got to finish to win. So if Sean Fink can keep his junk together for 3 more days and average in the 8s, you never know. He could pull this off.
Larry Larson rolled into Thunder Road Raceway Park holding a slim lead over Jeff Lutz. That lead is now gone. This is now going to be a dogfight between himself and Jeff Lutz to see who will take home the top prize in the Unlimited class at Drag Week.
In day 4, we're at Memphis International Raceway. This is another track that had closed down just a couple years ago, but it's back.
Competitors are dropping like flies in the Unlimited class. Last night we lost Tom Bailey, who not only got pulled over and ticketed by a local officer, he also broke some rocker arms on his big block Chevy, and he never made it to Memphis. Sean Fink proved that his Nova wagon is the Iron Man, dealing with overheating issues, charging system issues. He actually rolled into Memphis, Tennessee with no hood on the car. He also lowered his ET by 0.3 of a second. This time running 8:47 at 147 miles an hour. Jeff Lutz and Larry Larson had their share of troubles. We watched both of them pull in and back out of the burnout box multiple times before laying down subpar runs.
Broke a rocker arm. I must have broke that on the first hit, and that's why it slowed down a little bit. I heard something and I couldn't figure out what was going on. I adjusted the valves and I must have missed it. And I went up to do a burnout and I heard something. And Jeffrey backed me off and we looked for it, and here it is. So we got to duke it out now. You know, I got a 708 average, he's on a 709, so.
Oh, he lifted at 300 feet.
Back in the pits, Larry yanked off both rear wheels of his Chevy Nova and discovered that he had destroyed the ring and pinion gear set in his 9-inch rear end.
The bearings hurt too. It's not just the gear, it hurt the bearings.
Lutz would only go 7:14 at 200 miles an hour, putting Larry just 1/100th of a second behind Lutz heading into the final day of Drag Week.
Day 5, and we're back where we started, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it was a brutal drive yesterday, over 400 miles, a lot of them in the rain. As a matter of fact, it's still raining here, and we're not sure we're going to get this race in today. We made the decision. We're running tomorrow, which is Saturday, and gates open at 9. Hopefully we can be racing by noon or so and actually put this thing down. I'm sure Larry and Lutz are thrilled about that. They've got to be, right?
I don't know if Larry is, but I am completely thrilled because
Yeah.
I know they're both going to burn their stuff down trying to beat each other.
Oh, totally. Even if Larry's not thrilled, he's still going to show up and try and burn the stuff
He's
down.
too competitive.
It is possible to try too hard, as Tommy O'Donnell showed us with a sky-high launch and a hard landing.
Tuned it up, try to make a really good pass being the last day, and got a little high on the bumper, and track's hooking really good, and then whenever it came down, it broke both shock mounts. Coil spring came off the coil and broke both shocks in two. Yeah, it's done. We can't fix it. We're going to load up and go home.
Jeff Lutz beat Larry Larson to the staging lanes. He threw down a good run. Went a 709. That doesn't help his average, but at least he's got a baseline now. I fully expect him to get back in line, turn the wick up on it now that he knows he's got traction, and let the big dog eat.
On the last day of Drag Week, Sean Fink finally found his mojo. Getting into the 7s and pulling the front wheels en route to a 790 to 172 miles an hour, solidly locking up 3rd place at Drag Week for himself.
Jeff, you and Larry are almost in a dead heat. It's down to the 4th digit of the ET. I don't even know who's in the lead. If you both turned in your slips now, we'd be guessing.
Right.
What's the plan for this run?
We're just going to turn it up a little bit more, see if we can get into the 6-second zone.
1,400 miles have taken a toll on the cars, and Lutz runs a disappointing 7:07, leaving the door wide open for Larson.
It was a battle to the very, very end between Larry Larson in that 66 Nova and Jeff Lutz in his 57 Chevy. 5-day average of 5 drag strip passes, and it comes down to a difference of less than 1/10 of a second. Lutz runs at 7:071, and Larry just barely beats him out with an average of 7.062. However, Lutz during the week ran the fastest mile an hour we'd ever seen at Drag Week, 212 miles an hour.